Hello and welcome to another Not Chilly podcast. This is episode number 13. On this episode, Josh and I talk about the upcoming series of podcasts that we want to do, which is all based around the Star Wars film franchise. Probably gonna take out a few of the ones that might not be more popular, like the Han Solo and the Rogue One, but we might throw them in as well. The reason we thought to make this podcast was to give you guys a chance to see how the podcast kind of comes together. Usually when we go to make one, we kind of discuss the politics of it or the ideas of it, the rough kind of feeling of it, which gives us a little bit of an idea of how much there is to say about a particular film, as well as giving you guys a chance to give us some feedback on the series that might be coming up. It's because it's such an important series for people. We want to give you guys an opportunity to, suggest ideas or listen to this podcast and be like, oh no, we would hate to have it in this format. We would much prefer it to be a complete series, or that's all contained. Whatever the methodology or whatever ideas you guys have, and we might throw them in. So if you do have any ideas, just feel free to drop me a line on notchillipodcast@gmail.com, which I'll leave a link to that or to the actual email in the description. So yeah, let's start this. Thanks very much for being a part of it. Alright. So this is a weird one.
I feel
like you're not doing it right.
Yeah, I'm just being silly.
Oh, right. I'm just trying to actually do it. It's like... No, I'm thinking the end, the last theme from
A New Hope. Yep.
Well, I think you lost it a bit, but that is that's the theme from.
Yeah, I'm just being silly.
So what are we talking about?
I
know what we're talking about.
The big yellow elephant in the room.
Big yellow elephant.
Yeah. Star Wars, man.
Star Wars. Why is it yellow? Is it because of the text?
Yeah.
Oh, that was lame.
What?
I'm just gonna say it. Just gonna say it as it is. So, Josh and I were at a really fancy restaurant.
It's true.
It was some pretty good laksa. It was average laksa, and we started talking about how I really want to do a whole series of podcasts about Star Wars. And there is and I realized that there's so much to it that I actually think it's a good idea to do a podcast about the process that we're going through, just to figure out how to release a podcast about something that we want to talk about. Because I remember we did American Beauty. We did, and for me, American Beauty was like a particular beast, because it was something that really was close to my heart. And part of me goes, it went well, I really enjoyed doing it, but part of me goes, man, I wish I'd planned this a bit better, because there's so much I want to talk about, and it's just, it kind of gets lost in the wind. But it was also, we don't have a lot of time, and, if we were doing this full time, then it would be different.
You could revisit it sometime.
We could, oh, absolutely. And I think that you could totally do a part 2 of American Beauty, and, I mean, there's got to be a few of your favourite ones in there. I can't even remember what they were.
Thanks.
There's Dunkirk you really enjoyed.
Prisoners.
That's probably a good one.
Jarhead soon.
Hopefully. I don't know if I don't like that director.
And that occurred to me today, because when you got here, you were going, what was the song that you were... Oh, that's right. Glory be happy.
Yeah, that's right.
That's in that whole opening section of that film.
Okay, well, I have seen Jarhead, but we will rewatch it again. But there's just this important thing, I don't think people who listen, all 10 of you who listen to this podcast, think to themselves, it's actually we talk about really important shit that make us feel in these podcasts. We don't just go, this is a movie and it was good, though sometimes it can kind of steer that way, but mostly it's talks about feeling and how this had made us, how what we thought about it, what it meant to us, and to even the technical specs of it, especially something like American Beauty, especially something like we're going to do Jarhead. And to be honest, it'll be like what we do when it comes to Star Wars. It's we're both enjoy those, love those movies, but we're both also not the super fan fanboy about it. Like,
What?
You are, but I'm talking about the people that just hate it.
They're not fans. They can fuck off.
Yeah, fair point.
That's the whole thing that's going on now is that, with episode 8, it's the number of people that say they're Star Wars fans and they shit on everything except for A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Cool. So you haven't liked any of the Star Wars movies since 1980. You're not really a fan, are you?
Yeah, that's right.
And I, for a short time, fell into that sort of thing and being resentful of the fact that Star Wars didn't grow up with me the same way as, say, Harry Potter grows up with the children who read it and watch the movies.
Yeah, Naughty Dog, when they make their video games, grows up with their audience. Very much so.
I'd say no, it's different because it's not a continuing narrative. Like it's
I see what you mean.
But Harry Potter's a franchise where you're sort of 10 or 8 or something when you read the first one, and then you're 18 or something by the time you get to the last one, and it's got dark, fucked up shit in it, but it addresses throughout those sort of beats of how you feel at those different ages, whereas Star Wars is for children. It's for 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
And that's what it's always been for. And because Empire went to some darker places, everyone seemed to think that was a place it could go for the rest of it. But that was never what it was created for. It was never the intention. It was never within the scope of what they wanted to do. So
basically you're saying you're a 10-year-old in your mind.
No, I'm saying that I can appreciate that. Oh, dude, Star Wars gets me totally into that 10-year-old zone. Like, if I watch a Star Wars movie, I just want to run out the house, like, flailing a lightsaber. Pew, 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 pew. Why the hell not?
Yeah.
But, I don't think that if you don't like the vast majority of something, you just, how is that a fan? It doesn't make any sense to me.
And that's the first element of what makes this particular series different.
I'm a huge Roger Federer fan. I've only liked 2 of his matches.
Yeah.
It doesn't... What?
Well, you're completely right. A fan is the one that listens to it. It's like a real fan... Not that doesn't have to love every single part of it.
No, you don't have to love... Which I don't. But it's that thing of having an understanding of it or moving with it beyond just 2 bits of it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the people that are screaming now are the exact same people who were screaming about George Lucas, who are the people that made him sell it. It's the only reason he sold it. The only reason he sold it is I don't want to make any more because of what happened with the prequels. So, good work.
You're the one that's...
You're not a fan. You're not a fan. You're George Lucas hating, suddenly loving him again, thinking he's a genius person. But, whatever. That's my opinion on that.
Well, and that's going to obviously litter into watching of the movies again.
Totally. I still go to the midnight sessions and all that stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Solo. Even Solo. Solo, I had no interest in watching whatsoever, and I just went.
Yeah.
And, fuck, I'm so excited for that to come out on Blu-ray. It totally bowled me over. My expectations were, like, so low.
And this is like, so what's our strategy? Because I was thinking, we're talking about this in the cafe. I've already changed what it is. In the place that we had food and beverage, we were saying that like we could either go 6, 7, 8. No, sorry, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. We could do that. Which is the order in which they were released. Or we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So I think the Lucas order, which is something I normally disagree with, I think that the Lucas order is...
Describe to me and the people the Lucas.
Lucas order is just is in narrative chronological order, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then that's when it stops for him. But then it goes 7, 8. And the reason for that is I think that if you're not talking about them if you're not talking about them narratively or something like that, it doesn't... I think that that's a really interesting thing. I think it'd be interesting to tackle the prequels first because for a lot of reasons there's a lot to talk about. And then I just think it'd be quite interesting to talk about the prequels and then come back to the originals and go, whoa, as opposed to coming from, say, the end of Return of the Jedi and then go to episode 1, because those two are fairly aligned in terms of the childish sort of the 10-year-old age range aspects of them. I think there's a harsher difference between episode 3 and episode 4 than there is episode 6 and episode 1.
Yes, I see what you're trying to say. I like that idea because I think, but I always think to myself if we were to go with the way that the films were created, it would also be a really interesting conversation about socially what Star Wars meant to people, especially that whole point about following that generation that we're not in part of anymore. Because I hated the first 3 movies. When I revisit them, which I inherently will, I might actually start liking them again because I'll see it with a different set of eyes. And as well as I like the story and the way that all kinds of evolved, I also am interested in the way that it culturally got shattered and reborn. Especially because I really like the most recent ones. So I totally agree that, like, I think that's the path we're going to choose. We're going to go chronologically, the George Lucas chronologically. But I also think that I really like the cultural element, and it would be amazing to be able to go through that. But I also I'm not invested enough. I've never been so much of a fan that it upset me that people hated a Star Wars film. I was always like,
The only one that's annoyed me that people don't like, honestly, is Episode 8 because of the reasons that people are annoyed about them.
Yeah, which we'll get into.
Yeah. But aside from that, I understand why people don't like the prequels, except for Episode 3. I've always loved that movie. But
I guess we'll talk about release structure as well, right?
Yeah.
You had a good idea about saying that we shouldn't just release it out as a series. And you guys can actually, I mean, once again, the few of you that mentioned that actually listen to this, totally jump in and say, hey, we would much prefer not to have this.
If I was listening, it would annoy me if it was like, for the next 8 weeks, every episode is going to be about Star Wars.
Yeah.
I prefer to be like, Episode 1, 2 podcasts, Episode 2, 2 podcasts, or whatever.
Yeah.
It'd be better if it was released over, say, 6 months or 7 months or something.
Then a playlist is made where once all of them are released.
Yeah, I think that's way better because I really think that it would become nauseating.
Totally.
And it also just spreads out the ability to watch them as well. Like, I think that bulk watching them might be, for even if you do the originals, then the other, if you watch any of it, like, because I've done marathons of them separately, marathons of them all. It's really exhausting, and I find it really difficult to talk after something like that. Whereas if you watch them one at a time and then you can just talk about it, I think that'd be way better.
I kind of like the idea of doing at least 2 in a day.
My issue is they're really going to blend. They're really going to blend, and it's going to take ages. I think it'd be better if they were just spread out over time.
What about if we do 8 sessions where we watch 2 movies in a day, 1 Star Wars, 1 whatever else, or whatever. I'll just do 2 podcasts in a day, but 1 Star Wars related, 1 like.
Well, I think we can talk about that because I don't think
anyone else cares about the process.
But in terms of release structure, I think it should definitely be over time. But I would prefer to spread them out just because, yeah, it's like I mean, just imagine American Beauty, except almost my entire life being obsessed with it.
We'll have to take photos
each
of all
one.
this shit as well.
I'm not. I don't have much. I'm not into memorabilia. I've never interpreted that as being a fan.
No. But you have a few things that's.
Well, I have a few things, but yeah, I've like I said, I've never been into the memorabilia aspect. I buy certain things because I really enjoy it. P.S. like turning around and looking at a Lego TIE Fighter.
Yeah.
But that stuff is really. I've never associated that with fandom. I am way more interested and passionate about the stories, the underlying meaning, and hugely in the development process of them.
Yeah.
And the type of fan that I am, for instance, like my friend Tony, who's like a different type of fan from me. And the thing that's really cool about that is he and I also, like, our ranking order of which ones we like, so different.
Mm-hmm.
But he's reads the novels,
wow.
watches all of the cartoons and all that kind of stuff. And I do Clone Wars is amazing, but it's that thing of, for me, the films are always going to really be the only true
Star Wars
aspect of Star Wars.
Yep.
I'm very hopeful that
number 9.
No, I've just totally lost it. But what's his name? The director who's got his TV series coming out on the Disney.
John Favreau?
Yeah. Jon Favreau. I hope that his show blows me away, and I want his show and Rian Johnson, who directed episode 8. He's doing a trilogy that's separate from the main line.
All right.
It's supposed to be. I fucking hope it is. Like, they need to get away from this Skywalker stuff. But, yeah, I want them to show me stuff that's so like, oh, I never thought of Star Wars that way. And that's what I love about episode 8. But yeah, I'm that's the type of fan that I am. I'm not really get a cabinet of, memorabilia and statues together and
it'd be interesting to get Tony involved. Maybe, I don't know if you'd ever be interested, but because I'm a lot more passive of a fan. I just enjoy good movies and I enjoy.
He would have a lot to say.
Yeah, okay.
Me and him talk about Star Wars at least 5 times a week.
Really?
Yeah. Shit. Definitely.
Man, this is gonna.
He's probably sitting at work listening to the soundtracks right now.
I mean, that's not that bad of an idea, but like, I feel like I'd just be out of that podcast. I'll just be sitting there.
Not if you've just watched it.
Yeah, true, but you guys will have a lot to say about it if I do bring you.
But the thing that I like is that both of us are willing. The thing is, he's never gone through a point of going, that movie like was crap. You know what I mean? He's always had a real light side view of it, and I've gone through definite periods of like, fuck George Lucas, this was terrible. With the sort of prequels and stuff like that. And then it's quite funny, like how he feels about episode 8 is very different to how I feel about episode 8. Same goes with Rogue One and Solo and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's always it is interesting when two people love things and still don't see it exactly the same way, but have a passion for it. That's I think he certainly at an earlier age than me accepted that, okay, it's for 10-year-olds.
Yeah, right.
And that took me a lot more maturing to reach that point.
But he's older than you, isn't he?
Years. Yeah.
Not much, but maybe enough to kind of have put you in that.
Yeah, he's not much older than me, but like, yeah, maybe that has a difference, but probably not. He's also just a lot more level-headed than me. But
you crazy.
How I used to, I used to get upset and angry, annoyed at things a lot, like very, very, very easily with stuff like this. But now, no. It's if you don't like it,
then get out.
Yeah, no. Like, no. I can have a rational conversation about it. I just find that most people don't have a rational conversation about it.
Yeah, part of the fun of listening to those people.
Yeah. Why did they call it this in the episode 7? Because that makes it like, why are they making it like the North Koreans? And I'm like,
oh really? I didn't even hear that argument.
The Supreme, just because they call him the Supreme Leader.
Oh,
like what? And that's it, is it?
Yeah,
it's still all really World War II. It's like it's based on a mixture of things. Anyway, I think that it would be really good for us to space them out.
Okay.
Both in terms of watching and in terms of
putting.
Yeah, putting them out.
Yeah. All right.
And the reason I say for watching as well is that I've watched them to death. And the problem is that if I don't focus on one, it's going to like just bleed and be foggy. Like if I watch episode 1 and 2, and then if we watch episode 1 and then talk about episode 1, then we watch episode 2 and talk about episode 2, it's like it's just also a long day.
I don't mind having long days with my friends. I think you do. So whatever. If I'm a burden on you,
hey, all of them had to wait 3 years in between them. Can wait 3 weeks. 3
weeks? Jesus, it's gonna be like a year podcast.
Yeah.
It's going to take a whole year to do this one.
It's fucking Star Wars. There's a million of it.
Oh, God. 3 weeks. What would that be? 3...
By the way, I don't count Rogue One and Solo.
No, well, I wasn't. But 3 times 8, that's not a small number. It's 24.
Yeah.
Right? 3 times 8 is 24.
I would say at the beginning of it, taking our first steps into
6 months.
A bigger world. I was just Obi-Wan Kenobi your ass.
All right, really? God, this is what I'm stepping into.
A larger world.
Yeah, exactly. It's like really. I'm either gonna love.
By the way, if we did that schedule, probably could actually get Tony involved. That would be sweet.
If we did, do you mean a longer?
Yeah, if you spread it out more. Yeah.
Okay.
that would be pretty kick-ass because he would definitely have things to say.
Okay, well, maybe we'll bring him involved in
I'll query it.
Yeah.
He used to do a podcast. Because his brother does a podcast about the Wanderers.
Oh, you told me this. Yeah.
So he used to be involved in that. I don't know if he is anymore, but he definitely was. So, yeah, and they got to the point of like getting players and shit on, as far as I remember.
Why do they stop?
Right. I don't know if they have stopped. I just haven't mentioned it. I haven't had to ask about it in a while. Yeah. But yeah, he's used to that type of stuff.
All right. Well, there you go.
And he already listens to the Star Wars podcast.
Does he listen to our podcast?
Rebel Radio.
You should
I don't know, actually. I don't think I've told him about it. Can't remember.
What?
Maybe I have.
Why aren't you selling this?
Sorry. Buy this.
Please.
It costs $0.
Yeah.
You have no reason, okay? Your time is ours.
The shitty thing is that we're talking to people who have already been listening to Up and so they've already given us the time and we're punishing them.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, but I'm sure that most people would agree that they don't want to have 8 episodes in a row be about Star Wars.
Yeah, right.
You can provide that feedback to PL, by the way, but I'm just assuming. I know I probably wouldn't, unless it was a podcast that was specifically going, this is about Star Wars. But yeah, I don't know. That would kind of make me go, eh.
But if it was a podcast just about Star Wars, then...
Yeah, totally different.
Well, you could do them once a week. You would do them once a week or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. No. All this is going to be under review, and hopefully there'll be more information later on. Or maybe people will just be like, oh, I hate that idea. I don't want to do it. And then we'll just do a different thing. We'll see.
Besides, after we do episode 1, you'll be like, thank God I spaced this out.
Yeah, I'll get to episode 4 and be like, fuck.
You see, the thing about midichlorians, Piot.
Maybe that's why I give a good perspective in this, because I'll just be like, I don't care.
That is a good perspective.
Yeah, that's my point. It's like a more like average film goer's perspective.
I would love to be involved in a Star Trek podcast. I don't care. Oh, no, yeah, the J.J. Abrams thing, that was the best.
That was the most entertaining.
Yeah.
It really was.
Something happened.
Yeah, it was just explosions and lens flares. That's the best. Yeah, that's the kind of Star Wars.
I love that movie. Because it was Star Wars.
Oh, because it's J.J. Abrams. That's his showreel for Star Wars. I can do Star Wars. If I can do Star Trek, I can do Star Wars.
Yeah. That was the first thing I said when I walked out of the cinema seeing it first time. God, if there's another Star Wars, I hope this guy does it. Yep.
Oh, shit. I think I don't know if I watched that movie with you. Was I with you?
I think you were.
Like I heard that.
And I was like, I don't know who I said it to, but the first thing I said when I walked out was, I really hope if there's another Star Wars, he makes it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Oh, to think that at a time that there wasn't. Like, the Star Wars was dead. Episode 3 happened, and people were like, nope, never again. Star Wars is officially over.
That wasn't the plan.
Of course it wasn't the plan.
George Lucas already had the outline done for 7, 8, 9.
Are they the same as what it is?
No, not at all.
Oh.
Okay. It's about the what are they called? It's
Wallaces.
The Whills.
Really?
Yeah, it's called the Whills, which are these organisms that basically I'd have to check it, but it's to do with the way that the Force shifts back and forth, but it was more about that sort of Force micro world kind of stuff and how it impacts on the greater world. Yeah. I think it was to do with Luke delving more deeply into finding more things out about the Force and digging up to a level that hadn't been seen since the Jedi Temple fell.
Yeah.
So it's beyond midichlorians and all that kind of stuff. Which, by the way, like midichlorians is just... we'll get into it later.
Yeah, this is a whole thing. But yeah, awesome. Well, let us know, like, in the comments or whatever, if anyone has any objections or they want to contribute, or maybe they even want to be a part of. Like, this is a pretty small little podcast, so just want to have a good time with this as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we can make it into more of a fledged thing. But thank you very much for doing this little pre-podcast. And hopefully we will start this process soon.
I 100% agree. I think that'd be great.
I was like, you asshole, you're on your phone. I'm like, no, he's not on his phone. He's playing Star Wars tune. That was pretty good. All right.
Peace.
So that's the podcast for today. Stay tuned as there'll be a new episode released every single Thursday. To keep up to date, don't forget to subscribe by using Podbean or wherever you get your podcasts. On this episode, I wanted to give a special shout out to Josh Lundberg for coming back yet again to have a conversation with me. This podcast was produced and edited by me, Piotr Wasilewski, and the music was sourced from the Filmstro website. Till next week, thanks very much for listening.